Monumental Moments, where we live to multiply His movement. I'm Melissa Motschenbacher, and this is a place we passionately pursue and proclaim Jesus. Today's Monumental Moment is titled, Hold Your Horses. It was my mom's dream to ride along the ocean's edge on horseback again. She's crazy about horses. I was going to pass on the excursion, but got talked into it by my mom and my girls. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I really didn't want to miss this 3-generational moment. We settled on a date and completed the online paperwork. One of the documents was a liability waiver relinquishing all rights and responsibilities for any claims. There was an important box that we needed to check. It was whether we were requesting or refusing to wear a helmet. Mom quickly reminded me I grew up on a horse farm riding horses, so I knew how to ride. The only problem was that was nearly 40 years ago. We all took the risk and signed the waivers to not wear helmets. We arrived at the ranch. Horses were everywhere and dust was flying. Oh, the sights and the sounds and the smells of a working farm. I looked around and it all felt familiar. Watering troughs, hay mounds, and worn leather saddles. It brought back so many memories. We grabbed a seat on the front porch while we waited for our adventure to begin. Suddenly, we heard a sound. It was the metal jingle of loose-fitting spurs on weathered cowboy boots that the wrangler was wearing, which he was scuffing up on the wooden porch steps as he climbed up to greet us. Will came and he greeted us and said hello as he prepared us for the day. He went through the waivers and asked if any one of us wanted helmets, and then he walked through our horses and their temperaments. I was up first. He asked me, "You are experienced and know how to ride, right?" I mustered up the gumption to get out of somewhat of a broken yes. What did that question even mean? I wondered, how bad is this horse? He went on to explain that I have an ex-barrel racer. Well, isn't that lovely for this retired cowgirl? I looked to my mother wide-eyed and she just giggled. And then I looked around and I asked my girls if anyone saw any barrels sitting around. This was more than what I had bargained for. The problem was, I knew all too well what this horse was capable of. We were all given our horses and our marching orders. We mounted the horses, adjusted the stirrups, and headed out for a sunny seaside adventure on horseback. The scenery was just beautiful. We walked through creek beds, climbed sandy cliffs, ducked under lush tree branches, and splashed in the ocean on horseback. We even saw humpback whales breaching out at sea as if they were waving to us from their salty playground. It doesn't end there. Mom, in her adventurous spirit, yells up to Will, our guide, "Can we canter now?" The girls were behind me yelling, "Yes!" "Hold your horses! Are you serious? Don't forget I'm on an ex-barrel racer." Will and Mom took off galloping ahead as my horse began to crow hop. It was chomping at the bit, literally. Even though there were no barrels sitting around, he was on a mission to find them. Away he went, and so did my ball cap. I took it all in stride. It was like riding a bike. I'd not forgotten how to ride. That ride could have ended a bit differently for me on that little fun-loving barrel racer. I thought to myself, Melissa, why didn't you wear a helmet? Here's the problem. We know what we need to stay safe and to be prepared. We know what will protect us, but we willfully choose at times to go without. Often we think that we know better. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's pride rearing its ugly head when we think we've got this. Friends, no, we don't got this. We need Jesus and the full armor of God every moment of every day. I left the ranch thinking about the helmet that I had signed away and what could have been. The Lord, in his gentle but correcting and convicting nature, reminded me of his armor that is for my protection. Ephesians 6:10-20 says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. And for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. Matthew Henry says, we have enemies to fight against, a captain to fight for, a banner to fight under, and certain rules of war by which we are to govern ourselves. Finally, my brethren, it yet remains that you apply yourselves to your work and duty as Christian soldiers. Now, it is a requisite that a soldier be both stout-hearted and well-armed, if Christians be soldiers of Jesus Christ. We are to take up and put on the whole armor of God. My question is, what armor am I going without? Am I fully armed for battle every day? Or am I choosing to willfully leave behind my spiritual armor? What about you? Are there pieces of God's armor that you are leaving behind? It's time to put on the full armor of God. How can you make monumental moments and live to multiply His movement today?